my hangover this week, I guess mostly this weekend, is a little game you turned me on to, Randy. It seems like this happens quite often. You're just throwing stuff at me. But I've been playing a
play
little...
Play this.
Yeah, right. Get yourself addicted to this.
Right.
I'll just sit back and watch. So, I've been playing a little Shadow Cities, which is an iPhone game by Gray Area. I believe they're Finnish. So they've graced us with this wonderful little iPhone game. And it's it's sort of a GPS-based MMO. It's basically what it is. What happens, you load up the game, and you pick one of two factions to join. They're the animators and the architects, I believe. And then, you're dropped onto a map, which you can see resembles, it's, your actual real-world location. So you've got street names, sort of geographical features. And on the map, there will be roaming spirits you can fight for experience. But the core game conceit, I guess, is you have to travel around to different geographical landmarks and capture them for your team. And they're kind of weekly challenges, like which team can capture the most points or earn the most points for their team for that week. And so if you're into that sort of territory control kind of mechanic, it's very interesting.
Yeah, the reason I turned you onto it is because I had read an article about it, and unfortunately it's not on Android yet.
No.
So I thought maybe I can get DJ hooked on this, and I can live vicariously through his experiences. Because there's a similar game called like Zombie Apocalypse or something like that for Android that kind of does a similar thing, where it's sort of survivors and zombies, and you take over points on a map kind of thing, but it's the real map. It's Google Maps because it's Android. And it's called Outbreak. That's what it's called. And but there's really not like a lot of game to it. Like if somebody is a zombie and you're a survivor and they show up in your territory, you become a zombie. So there's no real way to sort of like fight back or leverage for control of that territory or anything like that. So it's really...
That sounds a little frustrating.
Non-gamey, yeah. So yeah, I don't. Plus, I don't think there's a lot of people playing it because every time I pull up the map, it's sort of like the next closest player is 26 miles away. But I've read that Shadow City sort of has a way of around that, not having anybody around you. You can sort of portal to other people's locations and stuff.
Yeah, if you've got a friends list or people on your friends list, you can warp to them and they can set up beacons you can travel to. And once you meet up with someone, there's like a technique you can use to kind of leapfrog your way across the map in case you don't actually want to get into your car and drive somewhere to conquer the next area. But it's interesting. I think one of the most sort of untapped potential areas in iPhone games is this, or just mobile games in general, is this sort of GPS-based gameplay.
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess Foursquare kind of tapped into that by making you actually go around to different locations and score points. And this one's definitely much more of a game than Foursquare, but it's still not quite. It's not incredibly deep, and it's sort of your typical RPG combat, like you fight things and you level up. And the pacing in in Shadow Cities is very grind intensive. So you have a limited amount of mana at your disposal, and you kill maybe one or two spirits, summon one tower to earn points for your team. And then you have to wait for it to recharge, and I guess this is where they're making their money, because you can buy additional mana potions. Yeah, it's very Farmville-esque, but you can buy extra potions to recharge your mana reserve faster, and I haven't been doing that, so I've just been, load it up for 30 seconds, kill some spirits, and then log out and come back after my mana recharges.
Do you think the game has been enhanced, though, by taking place in the real world or using the GPS system at all?
Well, it's definitely interesting. Like, I wish I was a little more interested in the gameplay to the point where I would actually want to go drive somewhere around and capture another territory. But so far, I'm sort of fine sticking with killing spirits around my apartment or hopping over to somebody who set up a beacon and killing stuff around there.
And you were
potential.
Traveling this weekend, so were you running Shadow Cities and trying to capture foreign locations?
Yeah, well, I was in a remote corner of Oregon, and I was like, oh, there's no beacons around here. I guess I'll just set up all the beacons. Got some points for my team. And So yeah, if you live in a sort of uninhabited or less inhabited part of the country, there's a opportunity for you to capture that whole territory for your team. But it definitely, it's not the it's not the most thrilling game as it is, but it's showing signs of games to come, I guess. So I'm really interested in seeing how they could develop on this and what other developers might do to take advantage of this GPS.